Welcome back to The Beast Within. I'm your host, Aaron Saltzman, and if you haven't already, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button because I promise you, we're giving you guys gems on pushing yourself able to reach your fullest potential. And with these gems come daily incremental tasks, tools if you will, that we are gonna help guide you together in order to get there and make you just an ultimately better person. So what we're gonna do in this podcast today, we are gonna be talking about a beast that robs you of your day-to-day glory and ultimately the compound effect of what your success brings. What is this beast? Well, today we're gonna be tackling the instant gratification beast and how it sinks in and the things that it does to you as a person and your confidence. So we're gonna dive into this instant gratification beast and we're gonna ultimately put you in a position to succeed. So starting this one off with a quote, the quote goes, "You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the levels of your systems." What does this quote exactly say? It's saying that we have goals in mind, right? We see somebody, perfect body, we want their body. That's a goal. We see somebody with a successful business, we want their business, that's a goal. We see somebody with the financial freedom, we want that, that's the goal. But what is the system in play to not only obtain the goal, but maintain the goal? Because you see, that's the thing, that's the problem with instant gratification these days is we want things now. We want things immediately, but the good things, I'm sorry to tell you, don't come immediately. So what this beast, this gratification, this instant gratification beast causes in your life is, first off, it tells you that if you don't have these things now like somebody else might, well then maybe you're not good enough to receive them, that you're not good enough to get them. And that puts us in our spiral of confidence, lack of confidence. When you have lack of confidence, you act less. And we know that success is the compound effect of energy. It is the day-to-day task for a long period of time that's gonna get you ultimately to that goal that you have in place. And so what is the instant gratification beast telling you? What does it whisper to you? It tells you, I should be there already. You see somebody at a level of success that you want. Why do they have that and I don't? You see somebody with the fancy car. They must have gotten lucky. You see somebody with a beautiful woman in a relationship that you're chasing. But this is the thing with instant gratification. It tells you that you're ready when you have not built the tools necessary. Yes, you might want that relationship. You might want to be with that beautiful girl, but you have not built yourself into the person, first of all, that's going to get that person, as well as maintain and keep that person. So instant gratification takes away from you and tells you that you must not be good enough. You see, this beast shows up when we confuse desire and readiness. It demands results before you've even earned them. It wants transformation without the process. It believes success is a moment, a single moment, versus a system. And what happens with the system? Well, the better you build out your system, well, ultimately, the greater it's going to be, the more fluent it's going to run, and ultimately the better potential that you are going to be at leading to your best self. And so why do I bring this beast up? Well, let me tell you, first off, this is one of the biggest beasts out there right now because everything is instant. Social media, instant. You see everybody with their instant success, right? You see their highlight reels. Well, food nowadays, instant, shows up at your doorstep. You don't got to even go work for it. We used to have to hunt for our food, right? That is the definition of hard work for your gratification versus instant gratification just shows up at our door, right? We have DoorDash now. We have dating apps, right? Dating apps where it's a swipe of a finger instead of actually having to go out and put in the work to meet somebody. You see, this instant gratification is taking a toll on your success. And what it does is it kills your patience. You feel behind when you're actually on track. It's just, your track is long. That's the thing, the journey is long, but you have to be on board for this journey and you have to expect that this is gonna take some time. But you see, this beast kills your patience. It tells you, well, if I don't have it now, I'm not gonna get it. Or I want it now, or I'm gonna sit in depression because I don't have it, right? Or I'm going to, this is a big one, especially again with my fitness industry people, is we self-sabotage because of instant gratification. When we don't get something immediately, right? Let's say you're working out for 2 weeks and you don't see those results. That's the instant gratification beast saying, you're not gonna get there. You just quit, right? Just quit the gym or eat whatever the fuck you want, or I'm gonna go on this binge because I haven't seen the results over this time. And so the sabotage, it not just you're not just self-sabotaging, you're sabotaging your discipline. You expect this perfectness and mastery without repetition. And without repetition, there's no practice. Without no practice, there's no success. And so you have to be very careful, because this instant gratification will destroy your momentum. Quit before the results have a chance of showing up, because you want everything so instantaneous. And so another big problem with it is it breeds an entitlement. You think that your effort should equal instant reward, right? You think that you should instantly get these rewards just because you just started. Let me tell you, any success that you're after is going to be a lot more than just putting your foot into the door. It is going to take an extreme amount of focus. It's going to take an extreme amount of resilience. And so when you want something so instantly, you're going to fail. You're going to fail. And so we have to put this instant gratification beast to rest. We look at the person with the body. We look at the person who owns the business. We look at the platforms that these people have and the peace that these people have with the success that they've built. But we haven't seen what it took to get there. We haven't seen the path that they had to go through. We hadn't seen the struggles that they had to go through. It looks so easy for them, right? But the thing is they've had to go through everything that you have to go through now in order to reach that. This is the thing. You can't skip it. You can try, but you'll fail, right? You can try to skip the pain. You can try to skip the suffering. You can try to skip the hours and hours of work and discipline and mentality that have to go into this ultimately reaching your fullest potential. And so the truth is, the people we admire didn't just get lucky. They built systems, and they put these systems into play, and they withstood setbacks. And they, within the system, this is how it works, is you have a setback, and based off of this setback, you learn and you build, right? You build on your system based off of the setbacks that this ultimately caused. And so that's the thing right there, is these people stayed consistent, they stayed boring, and they learned from their losses to ultimately create this perfect system in play. So by instant gratification, well, you're skipping the building of the system. How do you expect to create something without the system in play? That's like a building designer going in and just starting to build, right? Without putting the system in play, without drawing, without being the architect of the building. Well, you need to be the architect of your potential. And in order to do that, you gotta step back on the instant gratification. And let me ask you this. If somebody were to give you what you instantly want, you want the body, okay. A genie comes along and grants you the body of your dreams, hands it to you instantly. Just like what you're chasing, that instant gratification. So my question to you for now is, would you be able to sustain it? Would you be able to keep that body? Or would you follow the same habits that you have in play right now and ultimately cave yourself back to the person that you were, back to the gain of the weight, back to the less muscle mass? Abs are gone within 3 to 4 months because you are still the same person that you were going into this. And so this goes for anything. If the genie came in and the genie's gonna grant you a $1 million business, okay? All of a sudden you have $1 million business in play. Well, do you know the factors and the ins and outs on how to run that business? Probably not. Are you gonna run this business into the ground? Probably so. You're probably gonna go bankrupt quicker than you could even imagine. Now all of a sudden, you're starting back at ground zero. And you see, this is the problem with instant gratification, is it puts you in a mindset of I want this now, with no preparation on how to keep whatever it is that you want. So there's no dodging the tools. There's no dodging the success. There's no the success of the sacrifices. You have to go through this in order to put yourself in a place to be able to be the person you need to be in order to succeed. In a relationship, same thing, right? You have to be the person that person is going to want. Well, how do you do that? Is you're working on yourself over time. And so again, you say you want the dream body, the thriving business, the impact of somebody's social media platform. This was a big one for me. So an example for me on this beast, instant gratification piece, is I wanted to be famous. I wanted everybody to know my name. I still do. I still want this beast within to thrive. I want everybody to be watching it. That is something I wish I had at the moment, right now. That would be a beautiful thing. Problem with that is, am I ready for it? Have I prepared myself for it? Have I become resilient enough for this? Because ultimately, yeah, it's what I want. But if I break it down, would I be ready for what it comes with? Would I be ready for the extra work that I have to put in order to stay on top of this? Do I have a team in play to help me run this? Because I can't do it by myself. No, okay. Do I have the confidence to be in front of millions of people and to have the thrash back that they're ultimately going to comes with? To have the negative comments? Do I have the withstand? Do I have the ability to take this all on at this exact moment? And the answer is no. Because you see, I'm in the process right now. I'm in the process of building those tools to overcome all of those things. And that is where you build this machine. This is where the system comes into play. And the system goes for everything. Everything that comes with wants and desires and success, you have to build the system around the approach. And so the truth is that this beast doesn't really want you to know this. This beast makes you want to suffer and get down on yourself and quit on yourself and ultimately fight off your fullest potential because it just wants you to be safe. That's it, right? And so you're going to end up hiding in a corner. You're going to look back and you're going to say, man, I should have put the system in play. I should have tried. Because if I would have tried, I would have failed. If I would have failed, I could have built. If I would have built, I would have created the system. If I create the system, I will become the person that I want to become and have that full success involved. You see, you want the mountaintop. You want to be at the top, but you resist the climb. And so we have to learn to embrace the climb because that's the only way to the top. We cannot just appear at the top. And if you do, then you miss everything that it takes in order to stay at the top. Kevin Hart said it best, who is one of my biggest idols. Kevin Hart said that getting to the top is tough, but staying at the top, now that is where the real work comes in. Because now you have to always be on and you have to utilize these tools to put out the consistent fires that are coming. And the thing is if you were thrown at the top of the mountain, you would not have the necessary fire hose, fire extinguisher in order to put out these fires that come your way. And so you have to build yourself to be that person. You have to make the climb. And that's what I'm going to help you do today. I'm going to give you these tools and you're going to be able to make this climb solo without the instant gratification beast lurking. So examples, you want to skip steps. You want to skip the instant steps that are going to throw you astray and throw you out of your pathway. And so for an example for myself that I went through with this beast is in business. Let's say that I didn't build this business from the ground up and I was just thrown into a gym and everything was done for me. Let's say the contracts were all written out for me and the clients were already all signed for me. Trainers were here, they already established, and I didn't have to go through the process of doing all of this. Well, I had to learn the hard way. I had to learn the hard way with not having contracts in play. I had to learn through that experience that my contracts are essential because without my contracts, people will take advantage and people will step all over you. And so you need to make sure that you have learned the process through what you have to grow through in order to build a business. Another one is marketing. Well, if I was just put into a position of management of this gym without actually building it, I wouldn't know how to market. And eventually, the client stream would run dry. So you see, you have to learn in order to be able to build and adapt in the situations when they arise. Now, when a client leaves, I know the process of marketing. I know my ins and outs. I know how much money it's going to cost me in order to acquire a new client. I have what is necessary and built in play because of the lessons that I had to learn through the process. And so we're going to give you those tools now. The first tool that I have is to train your delay muscle. So small acts of restraint create real power. What I mean by this is instead of instant dopamine hits that we're chasing, okay, that could be scrolling, that could be instant spending of your money, that could be snacking if you're an overeater, emotional attachments to specific dopamine hits that attack at a minute. Well, by putting in a muscle delay, you're going to slow the process down. You're going to sit with the discomfort instead of instantly escaping it. And you're going to wait for about 5 minutes. And within this 5 minutes, you're going to start to sit there and you're going to suffer a little bit and you're eventually going to get over it. And you're going to start thinking a little bit more clear. And so we need to stop chasing these instant dopamine hits. And these instant dopamine hits are what instant gratification is. Instant gratification is wanting things immediately because it gives us this rush. But success doesn't come from the rush. Success comes from the boring days in, days out of doing what is necessary, not doing what is wanted. Two big different things. And so your first tool is to train that delay muscle. Understand it and learn that things come at a slower process. Just like in the gym, you need to delay the muscle, right? We have to be able to give it the time necessary in order to grow. So utilize that tool, delay the muscle, delay the instant gratification and the dopamine hit, and this will allow you to start learning how to take things at a slower pace. The next one we have is to build before you broadcast. So stop focusing on being seen and start focusing on being ready. This is a huge one. First off, learn your system in private before you put it out there. Stop trying to become, again, that instant famous and actually learn the process. Learn that you have to build before you broadcast. You have to be able to put the system in play before you are visually seen. The spotlight will come when you're ready enough to handle it. And this is a beautiful one for me because I have begged, I've pleaded, I've dreamed, I've desired, I've put everything into wanting to be seen. But instead, it just comes from the daily tasks. And those daily tasks accumulate and build on each other. Then once the system has been built from all those daily tasks, every dollar that you've put in, right? Every clock in, every hour, every brand of sweat, everything that you have put in over this time accumulates. And when it does, this beautiful system is in play and you are then given that sense of being seen. So for me, this is a big one. And for all of you out there that want something immediately, let's say you're chasing the dream body and you want to be on the beach and you want everybody to be, wowed by the transformation that you have made. Well, that transformation comes from the system that you've put in play. And so with this instant gratification, stop wanting to be seen immediately and start focusing on what actually is going to get you there. And that is the day-to-day and your tasks and your habits. That's the biggest thing. You have to create these habits that are going to pull you away from the instant gratification beast. So number 3, the one I talked about, is you need to learn to love the boring necessities, the boring parts of the journey. You see, because the boring is not the sexy, it's not what's going to showcase, but it is what builds the system. Boring, consistent work, day in and day out. It's called the compound effect of time. And so if you haven't read this book, The Compound Effect, one of my favorite books in the world, I've read it a couple of times, and this book talks about the compound effect. Well, if you do something in one day, you're not going to see the results. You do something in a week, you're not going to see the results. You do something over 6 months. Well, the compound effect of time, that day in and day out work that you have put in, is going to give you that success. And so you need to look at that with everything that you do. It's the compound effect of time that will slowly build your system, just like I've built my personal training business through that compound effect of time. If you would have thrown Aaron from 5 years ago into the shoes that I'm sitting in now, I would have dropped the ball by now. I would have not known what I was doing. But because of the compound effect of time, the day in work that I put in over and over and over, well, now I've sharpened my tools. And you can build a better system when your tools are sharp enough. And so that is one of the beasts. The instant gratification beast will die from the boring necessities if you just start to take that into your daily practice. So again, this fits for whatever goal you have. If you just slow it down and make it as boring as can be and do what you need to do, the instant gratification will suffocate because it thrives off of sexy. It thrives off of loud. It thrives off of instant. And so if you can cut that out and start just becoming that boring, everyday success story, you will ultimately reach that level of success that you're talking about. So utilize tool number 3. Master it, and this can go for whatever it is that your goal is. Just make sure you have the same habits. This could be in the gym, the same workout routine, the same meals, and suddenly within that 6 months, watch yourself transform. Tool number 4, remind yourself that the wait is sacred. You see, this is the load-bearing season. You're becoming someone, the next version of you, you can be so proud of that person. Because that is the big thing, is the wait is what makes the journey work. It's what builds your character. It's what turns you into the person that you need to become in order to see that level of success. In order to become that person, for me, if I want to be an influencer and I want everybody to know my name and I want to be up on stage, well, I need to become the person that can handle that situation. I need to become the person that ultimately probably has to wake up at the beginning, early day and set his intention and build out his schedule. I probably, at this person, needs to hire a team. I probably need to set myself up with speech classes on order how to speak in front of thousands of people, right? So that is the beauty in it, is the wait is sacred. And it means so much more when you become that person. And just like I mentioned earlier, not only does it mean more, but you will be able to sustain and keep the person that you have built, because that's who you have created, versus trying to be somebody that you're just not ready for. And that's the problem with instant gratification, is you're trying to be somebody that you have not prepared to be. And we cannot succeed within those shoes. You're putting yourself in a size 14 shoe when you're only at a size 9. It's just not going to fit. Okay, so tool number 5, visualize the reward and then become the person who can hold it. Just like I mentioned, I'm going to think about, what do I want? Okay, I want to be on stage. Okay, I want everybody to know my name. Okay, I want to be helping millions of people overcome these beasts. I want to have the tools and the education and the mindset in myself and purely in myself to be able to give to others. I want people to be able to sense that on me. Okay, so now what? Well, now, okay, I'm holding that in my hand. How do I get there? What do I got to do? What version of me allows for this blessing? So you need to build the habits that surround that blessing. You need to hold it in your hand and say, what do I have to do in order to be able to reach this and sustain this? And so those are the biggest tools that I have to overcome this beast, the instant gratification beast. And I can tell you guys, this beast is holding you back, and it is going to stop you from reaching that potential that you have in whatever category of life that it is. I see it in the gym all the time with people who end up quitting before they get to that ultimate breakthrough. Before they get to that success, they quit because they see somebody else that has already accomplished this and they don't have it yet. Give yourself time, give yourself grace, and allow yourself to be able to put in the day-to-day work to put this instant gratification beast to bed. We got to stop chasing this thing. It is time to put it to rest and become who you need to become. And so this last piece that I have for you guys, there's a little science behind that's going to close this gap. So the neuroscience, okay, so this is called the marshmallow effect, the marshmallow experiment. And this was done by Walter Mischel, who offered children a choice, right? So the choice was, and we deal with this every single day, the choice was that you can either have a marshmallow now, or if you wait 15 minutes, well, you get 2. And this was the study. And they would put these kids in this room with one marshmallow, and they would let them sit with this marshmallow for 15 minutes. Were they going to take the marshmallow, or were they going to put the instant gratification aside? I want this now. I'm going to put this aside, though, to ultimately become greater, to double, right? And so now, if they wait the 15 minutes, they get 2. Well, this is something that our instant gratification comes to. It's addictive. It tricks your brain into thinking that more now equals more happiness. But then why do we continue to fall through? Why do we continue to not reach our fullest potential and break ourselves and beat ourselves up over it? And so what they found from this study is the kids who actually waited and delayed their gratification grew up to have better academics, healthier relationships, higher incomes, and stronger coping skills. And so the takeaway is the ability to wait, to delay this gratification. So it is not just the willpower of, oh, okay, I can say no to this. For instance, eating late at night or eating desserts and things like that. It's not just willpower that you're creating, but it's predicting the long-term success that you're gonna have due to your emotional regulation, your emotional responses. Are you going to be able to put instant gratification down now, the one marshmallow, in order to double it in 15 minutes from now? And so that is my final takeaway with this, that if you can delay the prize, you become someone who doesn't just get what they want, but someone who knows how to keep it. And that's the ultimate goal, like Kevin Hart said. Getting to the top is nowhere near as difficult as staying at the top. And that is because you need to design these tools, this system in play in order to stay there. With that being said, again, instant gratification beast attacks us all at some point. It is about creating those tools necessary in order to put it aside to save the instant for delayed gratification. Because delayed gratification, well, now not only are we able to put the system in play, but now we can have some peace of mind knowing that I'm okay with it being delayed. I don't need it now. So allow that delayed gratification to overcome you, become peaceful with it, and watch yourself come out greater on the other side. My name again is Aaron Saltzman. This is The Beast Within. I'm your host. Again, please connect with us. Follow us on social media. Follow us on YouTube. Hit it with the like. Hit us with the subscribe. We'll see you guys on the other side of the next beast that we're overcoming to get you to a place of greatness. See you soon.